Welcome, fellow explorers. Thank you again. It's the Mystic Mama coming back at ya. Sorry, I've been out for a few days. I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday was our granddaughter's first birthday party on Saturday, and so we drove on over and enjoyed some family time. And I just didn't really have an opportunity to be by myself so that I could get together with y'all. And so here I am back. I'm so happy and excited and appreciate you being with me. We are going to talk about the book that we've been discussing. I know I have it. Yes. Okay. If you've seen anything from me up to now, you know I've been going through the 4 agreements, which I absolutely have found life-changing for me, and I hope anybody who watches is able to enjoy it as much and get as much from it. It's been super powerful. I'm going to go over, we did go over some of the stuff, I think, on Thursday. So I wanted to add just a little bit of the mystical part. I do think that anytime you do spiritual work, it is mystical. So I don't think that you have to engage in tarot or any other mystical work necessarily to be doing something mystical. Get out of the way, sister. Sorry, sister, and sorry, you all. I don't think you have to be doing tarot or doing anything specific, but I did want to incorporate a little bit of this. I just have had this feeling like maybe there's somebody who could use a little help in some areas. And if you're with me today and you are needing some guidance, maybe this will help. If it doesn't, just consider that this is for whoever, like, I'm just asking Spirit to guide it for whoever needs it most. And if it resonates with you, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, just consider that it's probably not for you. It's meant for somebody else. If you would like a private reading, I'm going to start doing those. I'll let you know exactly when, but I'm going to start doing those in about maybe a week or so. I'm going to start adding some private readings. I will let you know prices in the description. So if you're interested, I would love to do that. They will probably, unless you live close to where I live, and if you do, you probably know it. And if you don't, then I will be happy to do them via either FaceTime, or we can figure out some way to do them. I'm thinking of charging about $25 for a half hour, about $50 for an hour. And then, so that's my thought right now, but I will make something more like certain also. So I'll start going a little bit more about these after we talk a little bit more about, so I just didn't really get into the chapter about domestication and the dream of the planet as much as I wanted to on Thursday. So I just wanted to say, we're going to talk just a little bit about that and what exactly the dream of the planet is and the domestication. Because, there's not necessarily anything wrong with being somewhat domesticated. I hope I've become a little more domesticated as I've gotten older. But, too much domestication can be not so fun and not so good for us. So we're going to just talk just a little bit about that chapter again before we get into the actual agreement. Sorry, I know I'm dragging a little bit with that. But so that being said, just I'm going to public service announcement. What you are seeing and hearing right now is nothing but a dream. And that is a direct quote from my hero, Mr. Don Miguel Ruiz, out of the book about the dream of the planet and domestication. So again, what you're seeing and hearing right now is nothing but a dream. I was discussing the importance of language with my husband last night. We tend to watch a lot of YouTube videos, and we were watching something that made us think about language and how important language is and how it changes our perception of things. And so just it made me think about this also. So what is the dream of the planet exactly? The dream of the planet is a collective dream that includes billions of smaller personal dreams and they came together to create the dream of the family, the dream of the community, the dream of the city, the dream of the country, the dream of the whole humanity. It's basically mostly not even intentional. Maybe at some point it was intentional from somebody, but at this point it's mostly just unintentional passing down of the legacy of our belief systems, the legacy of our societal expectations. So that is kind of like what the dream of the planet is. It includes all society's rules, their beliefs, their religions, their cultures, their way that they are. Like everything that we are, almost, not everything, a lot of what we are has come from the dream of the planet. Either the dream of the planet, the dream of the family, dream of like somewhere. Mostly, like a lot of times, a lot through our family, a lot through, but they got it from somewhere, right? Dream of the government includes what the governments expect of us. It includes what schools teach us and expect from us. It includes social events that we are involved in. It includes our holidays, like anything that kind of you can consider like handed to you from your family, maybe not including genetics specifically, but just from the teachings and from having been around your family. That's kind of what it is. So, and it's not always a bad thing, right? Like there are good things that can come from it, but there's a lot of stuff that we've just kind of swallowed whole without thinking much about it, even much less kind of weeding through it. I kind of consider myself open-minded for most of my life. I've said before I'm an Aquarius, and so I tend to, I think I have a cat hair in my mouth. She's been kind of all over the place this morning. But I didn't really think a whole lot about like some of my religious beliefs, some of my cultural beliefs, some of my, I don't know, like just like beliefs from like my patriotism, like so many things I didn't think a whole lot about as a young person, as a young adult, like a child and young adult. I just didn't give it much consideration. And then I just started, I feel like maybe in my early 20s, some things about religion, the religion I particularly was in, I was Christian, but it was the particular, I'm getting distracted by text there. The particular religion that I grew up in, and I won't, the Christian denominations that I grew up in, I won't get into any of that because it doesn't really matter, because I feel like I've gone to all different kinds of Christian churches, and I feel like we all kind of had, maybe we chose different things that we made our like central things that were so important we couldn't change them. But the ones that I dealt with, I started questioning maybe in my late 20s, early 30s, started thinking like, why would any higher power being, ultimate deity, find these silly things that felt like so important, and started asking a lot of questions. Anyway, like we all have things that we just have swallowed whole as part of our lives. I wanted to talk to you about what attention is, because it's important, because we have the ability to decide, to discriminate, to focus only on that which we want to perceive. So we can choose what we look at, what we think about, what we pay attention to. We get to choose that. We didn't always get to when we were kids. We had to mind our parents, right? Most of us. And that wasn't a bad thing. I think it's very important. I've got grandkids now. I've got a little 3-year-old, and I adore her, but I'm working hard to teach her boundaries and other people's expectations without changing what she expects of herself. But to be in society, we kind of have to work with each other on that. But also, not everything that we've been handed down is something that's important to a society as a whole, although maybe there are some who think it is, but it's like adults around us hooked us, they got our attention and put information into our minds that we didn't choose, through repetition, through going to school, going to Bible class. Goodness gracious, I can't tell you how many Bible classes I probably went to before I turned, let's just say 18, the age of accountability. Although I think honestly, we aren't super accountable. Our brains aren't focused, like firing on all the connections aren't being made until we're at least 25. And I honestly think that gets older and older as we change the way we raise our kids. But that's just my opinion. That little piece right there, totally my opinion. It's how we learn to behave in society. It's what we believe and what we don't believe. It's what is acceptable and what's not acceptable, what's good, what's bad, what's beautiful, what's ugly, what's right, what's wrong. I had family members, just like probably all of you, who put priorities on things, certain things. Mine didn't focus as much on like outer beauty as they did on intelligence and education. It was so important. Like pretty much all of my family, all the way back to my grandmother at least, are mostly college educated, because that was seen as just a priority. Like you do not function in life in my family, and according to their belief system and what they've passed down, unless you're college educated. And not that there's anything, I'm so grateful for my college education, more than I can say. It helped me so much, just with my own, as I think I may have said, my degree is in psychology. Because of that, I also spent a lot of time focusing on psychology, and it did change me in ways that I will always be grateful for. I'm not in any way dissuading anyone from education if that's what you feel like you should do. I think there's definite benefit, especially if you have like a dream that is something that you really feel is your calling or your destiny. If an education is what you have to do it, then by all means go get that education at all costs. Otherwise, it's expensive. I'll be paying for mine for probably the rest of my life, and maybe you will gain some really good stuff from it, but maybe you could gain that by spending time reading and spending time in the library. So anyway, we all get handed things. And then here's where we talk about language. So language is the code that we use for understanding everything. It's understanding and communication. Every word in each language is an agreement. So if I say the word, I'll just say voodoo, because I have my little voodoo man here. He's something I love. New Orleans, you guys, favorite city on earth, and I love my little voodoo king from New Orleans. He reminds me and everybody that sees it, I hope, to be nice, or we're not gonna deal today. But you think about voodoo, it has emotional connotations. It's an agreement we made as a society. Not everybody uses the word regularly, of course, but we tend to have an idea in our heads of what voodoo is that may or may not be accurate based on what we've perceived in either movies or from our families or in our religions, or maybe it's like you grew up in the middle of voodoo and you have even more strong ties with it. But the words that we say, they're so important. They're so important. We didn't necessarily originally choose our agreements, because how could we have? Like, we learned it from the people who taught us language and who have increased our understanding of language. But we get to choose now. We agree to the agreements we have. That's called faith. We have faith in the things that we do understand and don't understand, and that has caused the domestication of humans. Day by day. And some of this is directly from him, y'all. So I'm not trying to steal any of his stuff, but I couldn't say it any better than he did. So here it is. So day by day, we're taught how to live, what kind of behavior is acceptable. We have a whole concept of what a woman is and what a man is. And I know that's changing, and I think that's a great thing that it's changing. You don't have to be a certain particular way anymore to be a man or to be a woman. But we have an idea. Even with that change, we still have an idea of what a woman is, what a man is. We learn to judge ourselves is the hardest part. You guys, we judge ourselves and we judge each other by those agreements. And it's really like we need to really be paying attention to our judgments, because it shows where our agreements are. And we don't want to be judging based on agreements that we didn't even know we made. So we punish, we reward, we do so many things based on our fear of being rejected or accepted. We all, I believe, as a human race, we all want to be accepted in some area. We maybe don't have to feel such a need to be accepted in our families, although I really do believe there's just a basic instinctual need to be accepted by our families, that we have to work hard if we can't seem to gain the acceptance of our families. And so that fear of not being accepted, of being rejected, it sometimes tends to make us someone that we're not. And I will tell you all, that was that's a very big thing for me. Grew up in, as I said, a very religious family, and I was a preacher's wife. I was a preacher's wife for several years, and I had rules that I followed because I was afraid of being a bad preacher's wife, of being rejected by the church, and I couldn't live in them. I couldn't live in them effectively and well, and so I did a lot of things that didn't keep me accepted there, which I honestly now see as a gift, because it kind of gave me some ability to see outside of that and to find it. I like to reject for myself what I couldn't do and find something that I did believe in that I could do. And I want to talk about courage, because Mr. Ruiz had a great definition of courage, not a definition of courage. He talked about how courageous it is to step outside of all that and come up with your own agreements, or find agreements, other people's agreements that you actually do believe and are willing to take on for yourself, and to start letting go of some of the other ones. He talked about something called Book of Law, which is a belief system. So no matter what, no matter how healthy or unhealthy it is, that is our truth. So, and anything outside of that, we judge, and we put under the tyranny of the judge. And the judge lives in, like, the judges outside us. Obviously, there are judges all around, but we have such a strong judge. We have a huge judge inside ourselves, and we live in shame. And I have a whole belief system about shame and how unproductive and unnecessary an emotion shame is. I think guilt can be effective because it might help us to get to a place where we stop doing things that we shouldn't be doing, even based on our own agreements. But once you get past that, what is the use of shame? It just keeps you in a state of feeling yucky, and that is so counterproductive, guys. So if you're living in shame, let's talk. Like, let me know in comments, and let's talk about shame, because I just can't find the value in it. The victim is the person who receives the judgment. So we victimize ourselves. Poor me, I'm living this way, or I'm living that way, or I'm not living this way, I'm not living that way. So much negativity. Hold on just a second, you guys. My husband's trying to reach me, and I want to make sure I am able to let him know what's going on here, and I will get right back with you. You will not